Okay, so we're live at a SoduCon 2026. I'm here with Rob Dell, and this is a conversation I've been dying. I don't know what his answers are going to be. I'm just very curious about what he's doing things I've never done. So tell everybody a little bit, well, I'll warm it up. He's in a small market. I'll let him tell you the population. Ruth Ford, great dealer, but he's in Florida. He's not full-time in there, so he had to find an operator that would take it and run with it. But in a limited market, and there's a lot of dealers like this, and I've been in markets like this where you don't have a lot of UIO, so you have to think outside the box and you have to invent processes that have never been done, because if you just let the market come to you, it's not gonna happen. So the population in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania is
2,700 people.
2,700 people. So not the biggest PMA out there, and you are selling how many total cars a month?
375 over the last 6 months on average.
So 375 a month. So you must be buying a lot of cars at the auction.
No.
He's close to Manheim, Pennsylvania, so a lot of people would say, well, he's close to Manheim. Obviously, he's got in Baltimore. There's a lot of big auctions up there that are also 2 hours away, right?
Yeah. I can get to, in less than an hour, I can be at 3 auctions.
But there's no easy way to get to Dillsburg. It's not, the closest airports are 2 hours away. Harrisburg's an hour and a half away.
Harrisburg's about 40 minutes, just hard to get to.
So not a lot of drive-by traffic.
No.
Not all, you get all the reasons that anybody could come up with why you can't do what you're doing there. And most people aren't doing that. Recently, you've been where do you rank in CPO nationally with Ford?
Number 3 every month. This year, number 3 for the year.
So number 3, and I guarantee he's not in the top 300 market.
No.
So he's got to do things that are outside the box. How are you doing that?
I mean, it's vehicle buying center acquisition, and acquisition is everything. It's not just the vehicle buying center. That's a big piece. Last month we bought 312 cars, private party, and it is a dedicated team of total commitment, from trades to everything. Last month we probably bought 40 or 50 cars from the auction. This month we're on pace for 1, and that's just recommitting to, we can elevate the other layers, and we know they're going to transact faster, more profitable, and just.
You're buying the auction cars because you want to, not because you have to.
That's correct, yeah.
But that didn't start out that way. So when you started implementing this, like I want a lot of people that I tell your story to say, well, this market's different. I can't really think of a market that's much different and unique with you got like all the objections. If I look at like strikes on a car, bad Carfax, bad color,
Right.
High miles, rental car, prior this, prior that, needs recon, parts on, open recall, all the things. That's very similar to what you could use in your PMA description, right?
100%.
But you don't.
No.
So you go on offense instead of defense. So how should a dealer that wants to even crawl, because you're running,
Right.
to get started, how should they think about it?
I mean, you just got to commit and you got to start somewhere. That's my advice to everybody. For us, it started during COVID. It was a necessity. And we didn't have a choice, right? We thought inventory was going to go down. We liquidated it. It went up, as we all know. And at the time, the inventory wasn't at the auction. What we were going to have to pay for it wasn't a smart financial decision. So I always tell everybody, when you don't have a choice, you can start something. But if you're at 0, you got to get to 10. If you're at 10, you got to get to 30, whatever that case is. And I've talked to several stores that started that way. They were at 0, and now they're buying 40 or 50. They're on their way.
Right.
I think separating and have a dedicated team is absolutely essential. If you try to have somebody dual role anything, you never get 100% of anything.
Service drive acquisition, same way.
Yeah, so just a complete dedicated team to acquisition. I would look for people that understand data and technology in order to solve those problems, and then it's communication. I spend 25% of my week with that acquisition team. And I have a lot of other responsibilities, but it's the most important thing that is going to grow and move the needle for the organization.
So I was recently at some other OEM events, right? And they're saying that the consumer buying behavior is changing altogether. There's no more form fill leads, and lead counts are down, from what I'm hearing, 30 to 40% across the country. However, walk-in traffic, phone up's coming up a little bit, but they're saying that everybody's beginning the search now at the trade, and researching it. Then they're deciding if they're going to do selection, if they're, where they're selection, payments, credit, all that sort of thing. Right. Don't you think dealers are going to have to do this anyway, what you're doing?
Yeah,
Not at your scale, but
yeah, no, I think so 100%. And ironically, we get organic leads when we approach somebody to buy their car because that's usually their pain point, right? You know, for whatever reason, maybe it's something they read, maybe they went somewhere and it wasn't easy to transact or they didn't like the number. And I always say remove the friction. That is my thing. Like, in order for me and you to transact, you're going to have to remove friction and make it easy for me, right? We don't have time. We're busy. Same thing with a customer. Customer's no different than us. I mean, we are a customer, right? So, but what you find out is they're like, wow, this is great. And it's a simple question, like, what are you going to replace this with? Well, I don't know. They can be 2 hours away, and I'm like, all right, well, we have 350 used cars. We got new cars. A lot of them do convert into a trade.
so do you do a lot of new car advertising, or would you say a large percentage of it comes from that?
No, large percentage just comes naturally. I mean, we're 8-to-1 used to new, and and that's a number we're pretty proud of. You know, we're selling 40 to 50 new cars. I'm a new car guy naturally. I've run a lot of new car dealerships, been #1 in the state, #1 in the country in different brands, and the market currently just doesn't support that kind of growth. And you know, talk about new cars, I look at them to liquidate them to get used cars. I mean, that's another lead source for the used car department is how I look at it.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating what is happening with new car leads and leads in general, because if you get on ChatGPT, there's no place to submit a lead.
Right.
So you have to be, so how are you handling that with answering clients' questions? And
With chat,
well, I guess if you already have your website, and I've checked it out, has a lot of those answers on it, right? Your BDC, your call center, your acquisition team answers a bunch of those questions, which shows up in your reviews, which boosts you.
Yes.
So I guess I'm answering my own question.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. So every week, one thing I do is I will ask chat, you know, where should I buy or sell my car, right? And when I started doing it, nothing good came about it. But the more information you feed and the more infrastructure you build to feed that, and you got to understand where that feed's coming from.
Right.
Now, if you know, and obviously based on location, but now we're there, and it's ironic. Some of our competitors will show up. So the way I look at it is we show higher than them. That's an advantage. Our rating is higher than them. The stars, the reviews, the amount of them, everything.
You do what you say you're going to do.
That's it, 100%. And that's trust and transparency, and that's what leads to removing friction in a transaction. You know, with all that being said, you have to do everything.
Right.
You know, like.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So how many people do you have doing this? Like the infrastructure to execute?
So there's 5 vehicle buying center reps. Is all they do is basically find VIN numbers and communicate with customers. There are 4 acquisition managers, and they appraise all the trades, every off-the-street purchase, anything out of service. So they're putting a number on. And then from there, 2 logistics people, 20 part-time drivers, because we go out to the customer and pick it up, and we go in a 300-mile radius. We've gone further, and I didn't get to tell you the story yet, but we sold a new truck to a company in Missouri, and they were okay with us driving it. They needed it bad. So we were going to fly the driver back, and my VBC director, kudos to him, like, this is how it's the all-in mentality and anything's possible. He's like, why don't we just buy something in Missouri and drive him back? So we bought a car in Missouri. So like,
That's unbelievable.
Why can't you do it? Don't tell me I can't do it, you know? So just figure out a solution.
What would you say to all the dealers that are hesitant to have their acquisition agents go to a client?
Well, you got to have controls, right? Like, I have lead drivers, for example, and the lead drivers can handle different elements that just, say, an entry-level driver can handle.
Like from an inspection, they can do a more...
Yeah, they can do that. I trust them a little bit more. They've been trained, and that's the key is you got to train and show people the why and the how, right?
Yes.
And then you got to hold them accountable. But look, if you're not going to people, you're missing the boat. I mean, it's just that
What
simple.
percentage do you think you would lose if you didn't go to clients?
What would we lose? Probably, I think we'd lose 25% of the purchases that we go to. But then there's another element there, and it's speed. And that's where we win. I mean, you put a car in our marketplace, which our marketplace is at least 300 miles, we're probably reaching out to you in 30 minutes. I mean, it's just that simple. And look, again, so if you give an offer of 20 grand, I have an offer of 20 grand.
But you're faster and easier?
I'm faster, easier. I'm going to come to you. I'm going to ask you how you want paid, all those things.
Even if you're a little bit less, but you're easier,
100%.
you're probably going to win it.
Right. Remove the friction.
So what's next for Ruth Ford?
We're going to buy 1,000 cars. I've been saying it for 2 years. And, crazy story. I was sitting in my office in March and we couldn't break the all-time record of 262. And I have all these whiteboards and you know me, I'm a little analytical, right? And I look at my whiteboard and I'm like, why can't we get past like 225? And the goal was written at 200. So I said to my GM, I was like, hey, I'm going to change that to 300. Now I'm going to go down, tell the team, tell them once they break it, we're going to go have a party. Next month, bang, 312. Sometimes you just got to raise the belief lid and communicate it. And that's why I spend so much time with that team. And look, I have the best team in the world. And a lot of them started at an entry level or a lower position. And even our reps, we train how to make better financial decisions. And we reward them when the car transacts better. And just think about it, if I hired you, you didn't know anything about the business, now I'm teaching you because eventually as it scales, I need you to become a manager and a leader.
Right, yeah, because that is an elastic to get to 1,000.
Yeah, 100%.
I would normally say that's a crazy number, but after what Rob Dell's done in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, I am not one to doubt him, so it's a pleasure.
Ryan, absolutely.